Every day of our lives, we make a crucial choice, whether we're going to play an active role in history or not. It's easy to assume that the most active players in history are the most visible, but often, the history shapers who play the biggest roles and make the biggest sacrifices are the ones whose names we never hear. Take Uncle Cam Townsend, for example. At age 21, he arrived in Central America loaded up with Spanish Bibles, where he meets person after person who could not read a single word of Spanish. One man he met sarcastically asked Cameron, "If your God is so smart, why doesn't he speak my language?" This cutting remark left Cam with a scar, one that would never heal. It interrupted the course of his life. Translators tend to be anonymous people, and if their work is done well, they remain invisible. As a result, the heroes who have allowed us to read the book we call the Bible have remained largely unknown and unthanked. This is their story. In every generation, someone was reaching for 1,700 years of men and women who believed translation was something worth dying for. Because while the process of translation is arduous, it's also dangerous. An act of beautiful revolution. These courageous hearts imagined a day when there would be 0 languages without Scripture. It stands to reason that at some point, when faced with adversity, a person would quit, pack up, go home. Not William Carey. After sailing to India with his expectant wife and 3 sons, he translated parts of over 200 dialects while experiencing the death of 1 son and his wife. Yet he was quoted saying, "Expect great things from God, and attempt great things for God." Even in the late 20th century, while the pace of translation accelerates, the story remains the same. Translation is an act of sacrifice. We see translators working in refugee camps, in war zones, translators kidnapped and killed. 1993, Edmund Fabian is in Papua New Guinea translating 1 Corinthians 13, the passage known as the love chapter, when he is brutally murdered by a local villager he thought was his friend. Just a few years ago, 4 translators were martyred when militants raided their Middle Eastern office. The militant men shot and killed 2 of the workers. Undeterred, 2 more locals laid on top of the lead translator, saving his life and losing their own. Throughout history, ordinary people have believed the Scripture to be so important they gave up their time, their liberty, and even their lives to ensure its faithful translation from culture to culture, generation to generation. These are not the actions of people on the fence. These people who then, as well as now, said there is nothing worth living for unless it is worth dying for.